And as promised, we are back. The Bros Watch. This time we're taking on The Expanse. The Amazon Prime dropped season 5 on us a little early, so we're giving you a little late night recording sesh. Hopefully, we'll have this up on the YouTubes tomorrow. And because he got me into the show, because he usually helps explain the show to me, James, we're going to let you take over this time.
Yeah, they claimed that this was going to be released a few hours later than it was, but they just dropped all 3 episodes a little earlier tonight. I already watched through all 3 of them, and I'm ready to talk about the first one. I have my
Yeah,
notes.
we're only gonna do episode 1 because that's all my old ass has been able to stay up and watch. Anyways, where would you like to start?
Well, we got to start with the opening. We open with Philippe, and for people who may not remember, that is Naomi's son. He has turned
Also,
out pretty
also,
much,
it's
and
also
Marco Inaros' son. Yeah.
right.
Um, yeah. So we see Philippe,
Felipe, hey Felipe.
attacking a science ship that was in the path of one of the weaponized asteroids that broke up because they had supposedly sent it too close to the sun. So they got out ahead of that problem. They took out the science ship before they could get any real data on what was going on. And it seems that Philippe has turned out exactly like Marco.
So, explain this to me.
Yeah.
The asteroid that got broken up by the sun and was around Venus that the science ship was in. Is that the rock that we saw at the end of last season, or is it just a multiple of the rocks that they have sent?
It is multiples because they showed at the end of season 4 there were multiple red lines that Marco had shown, and it looked like they had at least 7 or 8 asteroids lined up to hit Earth. So,
But was that the because we only saw them launch one, which I'm
no,
assuming they have to reposition every time they launch one, depending on where
yes.
they're sending
So
it.
if they were being based on the dynamics of the asteroids that they're grabbing, just like the ballistic dynamics, one thing is gravity is going to move based on time, right? Because like the Earth revolves, everything else revolves. So they have to plan this out like months ahead of time, and they can't grab all their asteroids from the same spot. So they all take a different path to Earth. But they have them lined up to kind of hit at a regular rate. It seemed almost like they were a day apart each. And I think without a doubt, we're going to see at least one of them hit Earth
Yeah,
because they're stealth technology. There's no way they're going to know this is coming.
right. And so if we can jump ahead to the very end of the episode, we do see the one that he's looking at the end says 12 days and counting.
Yeah, 12 days, 7 hours.
So
Um, yeah, so that's important. I mean,
now,
I don't think there's going to be some last minute uh, thing that tips them off.
yeah. So here's, I mean, I'm at least one of them's wreaking havoc on Earth somewhere.
Yeah.
Explain this to me. Every season, this is where I always get kind of messed up. At the beginning of every season, there's always like a pretty big time jump.
Yeah, so
How long was the time jump here?
the time jump that we see is basically the time that it took them to get from Illis back to the solar system. We've seen that everyone is kind of they're not really on the Rocinante right now. We just see
And
Holden and
Tycho.
Naomi.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, Holden
they're
and Naomi and Tycho.
yeah. So we see that Alex is not with them. Neither is Amos. They are supposedly doing their own thing, right? Um, yeah, so maybe probably a few weeks. I think they mentioned it took like 8 weeks to get from Earth to Illis. Uh, so 8 weeks
Somewhere in
to
between
12
there.
weeks. Yeah, somewhere in there because they've been repairing the Rocinante. So it's like it's when they got right back.
So
Um,
where now Tycho is kind of close to the belt, but not really, right? Is that? I mean, are we?
yeah,
Am I
it's
just?
no, it's in the belt. It's used for construction in the belt. So it's remember like the way the solar system is structured. You have Earth, then Mars, then the belt,
Right, right.
and it just kind of sits out there as a way station for people going to different areas. Like Jupiter, Saturn, or in this case, I would assume it would also serve as a race station to go to the ring.
Now, when the ring was near the belt, wasn't it? Because it's not near Mars. It's not. How far
No,
away?
it's out near Neptune's orbit actually, so it's pretty far out there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like significantly more like a magnitude of distance further away from Earth.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, we know that Holden and Naomi are on Tycho.
Yeah,
Uh, 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 damn it. I'm
Amos,
bad.
Alex.
I'm bad. Yeah, Alex is on Mars, goes back to Mars to kind of.
Yeah,
We see him radioing to Bobby, to kind of set up a meet with her. He also is thinking about going back and seeing his wife and kid. And then Amos
yeah.
is on his way to Luna, which this is, remind me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time we see Luna in the series. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it was very exciting. Yeah, so like you said, it's the first time they show Luna. It's where Avasarala has been since last season,
Mm-hmm.
since she separated with her husband, and we get such a good conversation between
Oh yeah, that was great.
Avasarala and Amos. Amos has said two or three things previously that he's like essentially hitting on Avasarala. He asked what she was wearing one time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is one of my favorite Amos moments. But
I don't know, and
yeah,
I've never, because I've noticed that in their interaction as well. So I don't know if he's doing that. Like, obviously, there's a lot more backstory there than we've ever been given. So I don't know if he's doing that to A, actually hit on her, or B, as a way to kind of jab at her. Maybe they had some kind of like friendship in a previous life when he was in Baltimore, and that he's kind of like messing with her.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think given Amos's previous, he's very direct with everything he says and does.
That's
So I don't think
that is
that's.
true.
I mean, I don't think that's a jab. I think he's genuinely interested in trying to have sex with Absalom.
Boy, it damn sure trying to get it, man. Hey, to each his own. Um, but
I
yeah,
just
no,
I
that was
really
that was a
love that.
that was a really interesting interaction with them, and I've always wanted, ever since the two of them, we saw that initial interaction with them. Was it season 3? Was that when they? I'm trying to remember back when they
Probably, yeah.
like on when they had her when she was kind of crewed up with them.
Yeah, that
Um,
was season 3, the beginning of
and
season 3.
she knows some stuff about Amos, man. She's kind of got the dirt on him too, because even there, as he's leaving Luna, she says, "Are you gonna kill anybody this time?" And he doesn't really answer.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we should skip back a little bit because we get Amos being Amos on his ferry
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
Luna.
No, that was awesome.
So, and God, I just love his character so much because if you didn't notice, he took Mercury's pack from season 4. He took Mercury's pack and he like pasted Amos on the name instead of Mercury. It's now.
Now Mercury
So
was the
like,
guy. No, Mercury was the guy on Illis that he didn't like, right?
yes, yeah,
Okay,
he was
okay,
he was
okay.
the leader of the mercenaries essentially,
Right.
and we see him be very direct with the Belters that were trying to extort some money out of some travelers,
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
and he he just beats the shit out of them, just
Oh.
takes them down the
The, the,
bathroom. And
my favorite line
go
of
ahead.
that was when the guy was first trying to extort the money out of him, and he kind of goes into that story about not breathing in nuclear radiation, and he
Yeah,
says, "Now if I could do that in 2 minutes, what do you think I'm
what
gonna
do you
do to
think?
you before that gas hits me?"
Yes,
I was like,
and
"Yes, dude."
what's so good about that is when he says he's gonna take a shower, he wasn't actually gonna take a shower because
No,
he
no, no.
says
Yeah.
I don't like waiting.
Yeah.
He goes
Yeah.
in there specifically so they'll attack him so
Yeah.
that he can just end the conflict real quick.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when he gets to Luna, one of the guards stops him. And he's like, "Look, they were all breathing."
That was great. Yeah. That was
they're,
great. No,
they're
he's
supposed to be-
Amos is by far the best character in the show, and
Yeah,
Wes Chatham, right? And that who plays Amos, he does a great job of just kind of playing that like almost like deadpan kind of, like you said earlier. He's very direct. He's even when he's joking and having fun, he's serious. Like and
yeah,
so
yeah,
and he's just he's the best character in the show.
easily. Yeah. So that's the next thing after all that. After Amos characters through his stuff is just we see that Alex gets the Razorback.
Yeah,
He gets like one of the best racing ships, which is probably heaven for him since that's like
sure.
he's the pilot. He just loves that. And we see him kind of going down to Mars and having a little bit of a interaction with his wife or former wife.
Yeah, I don't even know how Martian law works there, but she's basically like, she says to him, "What reaction are you on?" Like, it was good because we didn't get. I liked it because we didn't get the traditional like, "Oh my God, you should have been here," and we didn't get the traditional like, "I don't want you here anymore." She just says, "No, you don't get to know what the hell's going on," and I really enjoyed that.
Every time you go out to space, it's going to be like the travel distance is so much that it's going to be long. It's going to be at least a few months. So she's just like fed up with it. She's like, yeah, like you said, you don't get to know. And I love that.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting interaction. Besides the cliche stuff, like the writing is
exactly
damn good.
And then he also, we got to talk about the whole Bobby deal. So he goes to meet Bobby in the bar, but before that, we see Bobby basically committing an illegal arms purchase on behalf of Officer Ola.
Yeah. And we see that she has done this many times. She's just storing,
tracking through a network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's looking for what did she say? What was the kind of missile she said? Some kind of
just stealth missiles.
Yeah, stealth missiles. Some kind of stealth missile.
Yeah. Yeah. So we see that her and Officer are very clearly working together. She's like, yeah, look, I'm gonna need like 500,000 Mars credits.
No big deal.
Yeah, just drop that on me. Something that I think we missed a little bit was the visualization of Okoye that she sent to Fred Johnson.
Yes, that was very important.
Super important.
Yeah.
Extremely important because when the show got canceled in season 3, that little smoke monster, that smoke entity, is the last thing that you see. We see it pass through Holden. And he even says to Fred Johnson,
so as they go through the ring initially.
Yes.
That was the thing. Right.
Yeah, so when he came back through the ring after visiting the station, that's what Holden saw. That's like that whole thing. And he even says, like, every time we go through the rings, I see a little bit more, and they feel a little bit angrier.
Right.
Which is, to me, it sounds incredibly ominous because, like, they're waking up. Both of these two races, or maybe it's just the same race, we don't know, have been dead so long, and now they're starting to wake up. We're starting to see little flashes of intelligence.
So that was my question as I was watching. Is this like strictly anti-protomolecule? Is it, do they have to work together? This and the protomolecule. Obviously, we're gonna get some of those answers later, but
based on what Okoye said and that she saw that inside of the eye, the black hole. They haven't given it a name, the anomaly.
Right, that thing.
It seems like it is whatever was at war with the proto-molecule race.
So
and again, it stopped. They even know, they say like it stopped everything all at the same time. So that's their like working theory right now.
How many episodes are we getting in this season? Do we know?
I think it's 10. I hope it's like 40, but it's probably 10.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know this is supposedly kind of the last season for this right now.
Well, the 6. It's going to be season 6.
Oh, they're going to 6? They've already announced 6?
Yes, they've announced 6, and that's going to be the final one.
We're getting 10 this season.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because if they go where I think they're going with all of the expansion through the rings and this new anti-protomolecule plus all the other storylines, there's just no way to tie everything together in a season 5.
Yeah,
there's no possible
really not.
And I did like Sneaky, my second favorite character in the show, Fred Johnson. I like Fred Johnson. He's very sneaky. He's always a step ahead of everybody, Fred Johnson.
Yeah, because he's plugged into the OPA. He's plugged into the whole Belter information network. He always has at least something to go on, and he was, even though he was an Earther, he's like full OPA now.
Yeah. Well, he even says, they're basically trying to take over the belt and he's building these things, his infrastructure to take over and have the OPA police the belt, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I think that's going to be an issue, and I think that we're probably going to see some more people like um, maybe like drummer come back in, or some of the previous OPA people that we've seen. Maybe Anderson Dawes will make an appearance.
Well, he mentioned Holden mentions him. Holden
Yeah,
mentions like, are you in Dawes? Um, are you researching the proto molecule? And it kind of explains to him like, hey man, one little drop of that made those buildings on
yeah.
Illis go nuts and try to kill everybody. And so yeah, drummer, I need her back in the show. Where is she at? Drummer, where you at, girl?
We're definitely going to see her. There's no
Yeah,
possible way that they don't bring her back in.
yeah.
She's such a great character.
Shout out Kara
She's probably
G.
going to make an impressive entrance. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I thought last season, it was last season, right, when she teams up with the old man and they kind of do the whole deal
yeah.
where she gets
Ashford.
paralyzed. Yeah, I thought that was they gave her a big part in season 4, and she really
Yeah,
crushed it. She really knocked it out of
yeah.
the park. And so yeah,
Fantastic.
definitely excited to see her come back. Have we missed anything? Did
Yeah, so I got
we?
a few things.
Okay.
So one, Alex was dressed up as a date. He felt like he was gonna make his way back in with his wife, and obviously
Oh
that
yeah,
did
yeah,
not
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah.
But one of the big things that I wanted to say with this is that he saw how Mars was changing. It's not the Mars that he left because
Mm-hmm.
everyone's trying to get off planet to go to the new colonies,
Right.
and it's basically like depopulated.
Yeah.
There were lots of businesses that were gone forever and never coming back. So he's seeing everything that's changing, um, and that's kind of an
Which
issue. Like even Bobby,
which there's gonna be a big power vacuum there. Obviously, there's like we're gonna get some kind of either organized crime element or pseudo military, paramilitary factions. Something's gonna
yeah,
happen there to
and well,
slide in and
they've left this thread of like uh, Mars is selling to the belt, but we don't know if they're working together or if it's just individual people in Mars trying to get rich and then go to the colonies, right?
sure, sure.
So it could just be an individual thing. It could be that they're actually working together against Earth, but it really feels like it's just crime. It's like
And,
corruption. It doesn't feel like they're coordinated.
and while we're
Um,
talking about the colonies, here's a question I've had that I haven't been able to decipher on my own. From the start of them, what's her name, President Go or Emperor Go, whatever the
Gal,
hell they call
Gal.
him, Gal. Shit.
I believe it's
Uh,
Secretary General Gal.
yeah. So Secretary General Gal, when she decided to start sending people through to where we are now, how long is that? Because they show the list of all the jobs being needed on all the different colonies. How quickly are they setting up cities, for lack of a better term, in the colonies? Like, I mean, because if all these
Well,
jobs are available, how quickly are they building stuff there?
Well, they're not really building things. We saw in season 4 how they basically just take a whole bunch of containers down the surface, and that's what they have to work with. It's not factories, it's not cities, it's just colony ships.
Right, right. But what I'm saying is how quickly can they? I know we saw the one, but how quickly can
Yeah.
they set this up for all these people on Mars to leave Mars and go to, go to the colonies?
Um, they
Like
they
I
do
guess
talk about the number. So they
more.
actually do talk about the number later, um,
So more
in
my question.
episodes 2 and 3.
More my question is what kind of time jump is that? Because I feel like we're almost. Uh, when I watch it in my jumbled brain, it's almost like we're getting two kind of set. So we get the time jump with The Rock from Marcos, and then we get the time jump from when they say, okay, let's
Yeah.
colonize to now, like the Mars stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's the most difficult part of the show is that they there's no way to show a time jump. Like how are you going to show someone coming back from the gates for like 2 months, you know?
Yeah.
I think that they just do a good job writing that in, but like you said, it's kind of hard to determine it. I would say right now it's probably 2 to 3 months after everything happened on Atlas,
Okay.
and then that would be enough time for people to just like pack up and leave. To be honest,
Yeah, I mean, so that was my question: is like, how quickly are these people knowing for sure that there's work out there, knowing that like they're not going to die on the colony, and then leaving Mars and going?
Ah, I don't think they know. You think it's more the situation of like, well, we're just sitting here on basic income and there's no jobs and we live in squalor and like we just have to try going somewhere.
Yeah.
You think everyone would jump at when you've got 20 billion people on Earth, they would jump at the opportunity to leave and go
Right.
to something
Well, we
better.
haven't seen it. We haven't seen from Earth yet, right? We've only seen from Mars. So,
There's definitely people going from Earth
I
though.
mean, yeah,
Like,
but we haven't seen how many people. Let me ask you this real quick: is Luna considered almost like a resort type area?
I'm
Because
not sure.
it seemed very nice. You know, they had the memorial and given that we haven't seen it yet, I almost felt like this was like a special destination, Luna.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that. Based on what we've seen, it's just kind of like it's like an outpost, probably the
Just
first Earth outpost.
another place.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else for us
We also
before
see
we wrap
that
up?
just a few details that aren't really necessary to the plot. You see, this was so good that near the start of the episode, they have a guy who's on the ceiling walking down the hallway. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you missed that,
Yeah,
but it shows how like they just pay such good attention to detail in the
yeah. Yeah.
show. Um,
I actually meant to bring that up
you,
too, like about the gravity boots. Like whenever they're using their gravity boots, you always hear them clicking
yeah,
to the. You
yes,
always hear it. That you always hear it every episode.
yeah. Every single time they pay in, like even if they're dropping a cup or a instrument or something, it's just floating there. If it's into a G, it's floating there.
Right,
Um,
right,
we also see that Holden is still dealing with the radiation. He pops
right.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
he pops his patch on his arm. So I don't think that's going to really be relevant to the plot, but it could be. He could get sick at some point. And then one thing that's kind of funny is the drones that Amazon uses in warehouses are called Kiva drones. And
Oh,
the
are they?
drone that the drone that Bobby was using reminded me so much of that.
Yeah.
Because like they just use it to automate and go. They'll pick up a shelf and then come and move to a person, and then they'll take something off the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just a little spot that really was funny to me.
Okay, so I since you've already seen episode 2 and 3, which we're gonna break down later, so hopefully this one will drop. What's tomorrow? Wednesday morning. Then episode 2 will drop Thursday morning. Episode 3 will drop Friday morning. So I'm gonna make predictions since you've already jumped ahead.
All right, I'm not gonna react.
Um, so we find out that Amos is some kind of not just enforcer but big time crime boss down on Earth. That's why he's got this messed up past. He kind of grew up, in crime and kind of took over as crime. Because there's a thing too that Alva Sorala says at the end where, the admiral asks like, what does he say? Like, is he on our side? And she says something along the lines of, sometimes yes or no, or when he's helping us or whatever it was. So we find out that Amos used to be a big time crime boss, and obviously has heavy military background influence there. So that's number one. Number two, Alex just fails miserably with his wife, and pisses Bobby off in the process. Because we already seen Bobby mad at him.
That's
I'm not
already
really
happened.
yeah, I'm not really sure why she was so mad at him, but she was. Anyway, as far as Holden and Naomi go, I don't think that's lasting. That's not lasting. He was like visibly shaken when she went to go find her son and like just didn't tell him and said she didn't want him to go. And he's kind of playing the understanding boyfriend now, but that's not going to last, and it's going to cause Rossi friction. Um, Big picture, Dawes comes back, and there's kind of this battle back and forth between him and Fred Johnson and Holden about the proto-molecule. We're going to get that all season long. It's going to be very almost politicized almost. Midway through the season, something happens on one of the other colonies, and Okoye needs Holden to go check it out. And so that's where we get the Rossi crew back together, and we kind of see this anti-proto-molecule really coming into fruition. So those are my predictions for now. Don't
All
say
right.
don't say your nay. We'll get to your predictions after we get to episode 3, I guess. So, anything else to
Sure.
add before we wrap up?
I actually don't think we're gonna see Anderson Dawes. I think because like Jared Harris, I don't think they got him back, just from like a casting perspective.
Or,
Maybe they recasted him. That would be interesting.
I mean,
But
I think anything's possible. It's 2020. People need work, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, hey man.
that is true.
So anyway, I mean, those are my predictions, bold predictions. Hashtag hot takes. Um, and this has been the Bros Watch the Expanse. Check it out on Prime. They drop the first 3 episodes just like they did with the boys, and then we'll get weekly releases moving forward. So we'll go into that in a little more detail when we get to it. Hopefully, this will be up on the YouTubes in the morning. We'll see. Might be a slight delay getting out on Wednesday night for episode 2 because AEW Dynamite's on and that takes precedence over everything for me. So,
Yeah.
after I watch Kenny Omega and Joey Janela in a no DQ anything goes title match, uh, then we'll do the Expanse again. So, thanks for joining us. Like, rate, and subscribe. We do the Bros Watch the Boys and the Bros Watch the Mandalorian as well. We got the season finale of the Mandalorian coming up this week too.
Showing up.
So if you like what the hell we talk about here, those usually get much more spirited because I'm not always so confused on what's going on in those, so I don't have to ask as many questions. I can just talk about it. But anyways, yeah, we'll see everybody back again real quick for episode 2.
Yeah.
See ya.